It's the great resignation, the great quitting, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, the labor market has been a big subject of news and even your personal life. If you're a business owner, maybe you've seen it in that side of the coin. What does this all mean? What does it mean for you as an employee, as a consumer, as a business owner? Well, it's easy to see that consumers and employees' appetites for labor and work have changed. The pandemic showed us that people think there's a lot more to life than just working. People have other priorities. Now, obviously, we need some type of activity called work for two reasons. Number one, to sustain ourselves financially. We all have bills to pay. Rent, mortgage, utilities, car, gas, food, whatever it is, we have certain bills to pay. You need something to pay those bills. If you have enough money saved up in the bank to last you the rest of your life to not work, that's fine. That's called being retired. So you have to have a job for that. The other side of the coin is you need some activity to make your life have meaning. Nobody really wants to sit around, play video games all day, even lay on the beach all day. Some might think you want to do that initially, but even people who try that eventually get bored of it. And it's not fulfilling. You're bored. Even if you want a hobby, you want to go snowboarding, you want to do something. And then you decide, well, if I'm doing something, I might as well get paid for it. That's fine too. In fact, a little sneak preview of the subject of this video, it's probably better off doing something for yourself anyways than working as an employee for a business. But what does this mean for you as an employee? Well, here's an interview with Wolfgang Puck, famous chef, restaurant owner, and talking about how there's a labor shortage in the restaurant industry specifically. Why is it hitting restaurants more than anything else? Well, it's because that work, that job, has always kind of been a little bit less fulfilling for the workers. It's not really that fun, right? It's a difficult environment to be in. It's long hours and also rough hours. You're working at the time when most people want to be on leisure time. The biggest times for restaurants are evenings, weekends, holidays. So if you're a restaurant worker, you don't get the time off that most people have off, because when people are off, they want to go to a restaurant. So you're not going to get off the holidays normally. So those are the first jobs people don't want to work at. Not only that, but it's customer service, it's retail. And it's very demanding. People expect when they're paying money for a dinner on their plate that they know if they went to the grocery store it cost them $5 worth of materials and they're paying $30 for that dinner, there's a reason for that. They want some extra perks coming along with that. So they might be demanding of the restaurant workers. Is that right or wrong? Well, obviously it's probably not right, but they can understand the diner and the restaurant, some of them wanting to be more demanding. And as a restaurant worker, whether it's a high-end restaurant, fast food, even a coffee shop, you're going to get people demanding things. If there's a mistake, they're going to be all up in arms, and it can be ridiculous. That kind of working environment for relatively low pay is not fulfilling. And so a lot of people are leaving that line of work. It also doesn't have longevity. Most people don't go into it thinking, I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is my permanent job. That's why it's a joke. When you have somebody, if they say I'm an actor, the response is, what restaurant? Right? Because that's a stepping stone. If you're an actor, you work as a waiter or waitress to support your acting career until it takes off the ground, right? Same thing with other careers. Now it could be Uber. Most people don't do it for a long-term intention. They might be in it long-term accidentally, but that's not the intention. So what does that mean? Well, obviously, if you were in a business or a career or a job that you don't like and you don't want to work there anymore, that's great. You be you, be yourself, be authentic to yourself and make life important. But figure out what is it that you're going to do. You have to do something. Maybe you have a degree or education where you can work in a different type of job, but a lot of those other jobs may not be as available unless you work in an office, and some people want to work remote now. The other factor of restaurant business is it's flexible. If you move to a different city, you can get a restaurant job instantly. even before and during and after the pandemic. Other jobs, you're stuck there. If you work in an office in XYZ Corporation, man, that's where you're going to work. You may not want to do that and get yourself into that locked-in mentality. Everybody imagines like Office Space where it's just bureaucratic. What do you do? Well, it may be that you need to work in some capacity in a job that's not your, let's say, most favorite thing. Maybe it's a different restaurant, a different food service, a different service industry, travel, what have you. But you start doing something on the side. Be aware that whatever you want to do on the side, whether it's tech related, entertainment related, artistic, that's more serving of your personal interests, that's great. But it's not going to be a money maker overnight because everybody wants to do it. If you want to be a woodworker and make, cutting boards that are artistic, if you want to make wall art, something with metal, you want to be a musical artist, that's all great. But the income from that, the money from that, is a more difficult starting point because nobody really needs it. It's not a need, it's a want. So maybe weeks, months, years until that starts generating enough income. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, but it should mean that you should plan for some other source of at least the basic income to support your lowest overhead. Food, rent, roof over your head, gas for your car, end of story. You may not have much more than that, but your dream of being in that business of whatever it is you want to do needs to be supported by having something that pays the bills. At the same time, you want to cut your expenses. Live in the cheapest place you can. Don't spend any extra money. It might seem austere at first that you don't get to go out to eat as much, or you don't get to go on as many vacations or buy as many new clothes. But if really what you want is to not be beholden to the man working in the company, then you may need to do that. Let's look at it from the employer side, and this might help you too as a worker or employee to understand what might accelerate your process of being entrepreneurial. If you are an employer, if you are a business owner, manager, and you have employees, and we never like to use that word because it's not really honoring the person. It's kind of dominant. You might want to look at them not so much as employees as entrepreneurial. Whether you're an employee or an employer, make each person be kind of their own business within a business. It's easier to do with some jobs, like in sales. You're your own little business. If you're Joe Schmo and you sell products for a company, you're Joe Schmo Inc. inside that company. You sell stuff and you have your own little entrepreneurial business. Try to grow it as much as you can. Even if you're in a service business, be Sally Smith Inc. as a waitstaff. Build a customer base. Be entrepreneurial. Do marketing for yourself, internally and externally. Get the best coverage times. Work with your manager, your boss to get the best hours so you can make the most money. Get an extra table if you need to. That's growing a business. If you wait for it to happen to you, you'll make less money than the person that does it. And you might not think, well, I shouldn't do that. I should just be entitled to get these things. That's great. You can think that all you want, but it's not going to happen. Take the initiative to be your own business within a business. In fact, it'll also give you some practice for your side gig, your side hustle, your extra money. If you are in the business of making, like we said, cutting boards in your wood shop, in your garage, you have to get out there and hustle to sell them to customers. If you're in that mode all day long at your regular job, getting extra tables at your job, maybe getting extra shifts at your employer, maybe getting extra trips for your Uber account, whatever you're doing, your head is always going to be in that mode of building a business. Business development is what it's called. And you'll apply that practice to your actual side business. And when I say actual, that's the only one that matters because that's yours. When you work for somebody else, you're at their mercy. You're at their beck and call. You're really just enslaved by their rules. Now, the rules might be great, might be a good place to work and nice people, but you still, at the end of the day, have to abide by their rules. You can quit anytime you want, But you have to look at your customers. If you're let's say if you're waitstaff, people at your table, your manager, the owner, your boss, everybody you're involved with as customers. You want to serve those customers to get more from them, because that's what customers are about. The more you give to them and you provide to them value, the more they're going to buy from you. Where do you spend most of your money? You spend most of your money at stores or establishments that give you the most value for your money. You are the customer. Customer's always right. So if you look at your manager, the person sitting at the table, your Uber ride in the back of your car as a customer, and you try to give them better value, you'll get more in return. Better reviews, better tips, better hours, better shifts, whatever it is. Maybe if your restaurant owner owns a few other locations and one of them maybe is a higher end restaurant, being a go-getter might get you extra perks. In fact, next time you go to Costco, walk down the hall that goes towards the bathroom. There's a break room at Costco where the workers sit down and have a break and have snacks or whatever it is. Next to that break room, there's 3 big charts, and it has employees ranked in terms of how many scanned items per minute. Usually about 20 is a good number. How many customers they serve per hour. That could be 40 or 50. And there's another ranking for percentages. So they're keeping track of their employees. Now that may seem like it's Big Brother watching you and putting pressure on you, but if you look at it like a sales ranking or a batting average or your rankings on your video game network, now you're using numbers to your advantage. Might get a raise, might get a promotion. Even if you don't, it teaches you how to run your internal business for yourself that you can apply to your own side gig. And if you don't have a side gig and you're just relying on your employer to eventually realize your potential and give you the credit you deserve, it's not a 100% guarantee. In fact, it's probably not going to happen. Most people are out there waiting to be discovered. And waiting to be discovered is not a good strategy. You have to make yourself be discovered. That doesn't mean being rude or offensive or high pressure sales or whatever. It just means providing more value. And again, it's a personal choice. You don't have to do this. You can feel like, it's going to happen. But I'm just telling you that every one of those people looks at you as a resource. How can I use this resource to my advantage? If it's a customer that comes back to your restaurant, I want to sit in that section. Can this person be my server today? Or they'll come back more often because of you. Again, you don't want to diminish your dignity or do anything like that, but you want to be a good, positive provider of a service in whatever role you're in. And that service can be to your coworkers, your employees, at your company, customers, managers, bosses, what have you. Don't let the great resignation, the great quit, make you think that jobs are bad and everybody's out to get you. Some people are out to get you, but some of what you call out to get you is just competition. It's just your boss or your company trying to compete with other companies out there, trying to put them out of business. If you're a restaurant on the corner, all the other restaurants on your street are trying to put you out of business by taking your customers and getting more in their store. They're really trying to protect you by making your business operate better, more profitably, less cost, more efficiently. Now, some of that pressure of operation falls on you because you might have to work more hours or work harder or work faster. But they're just trying to keep their business afloat. If you can help them do that, great, you're a resource and they may have a place for you later. If you don't help them do that, that's fine too. You're going to still have a job because they need you. And the fact that you don't have that kind of constant threat of losing your job if you're just a normal, average, mediocre, or below average employee, don't let that fool you in thinking that that's a good thing to do. Because in the long run, if things turn around or even if they don't, it's not going to put you on any kind of upward path. Do your side gig, but maximize your outside employment, primary employment, you can call it that, to get you enough money to really supercharge that side gig. If you have an extra $100 or $200 a month, left over from your primary job because you got extra tips, better hours, more commission, you can put that right into your side gig in advertising, marketing, and supercharge it. You can accelerate it faster. So maybe instead of waiting 7-8 years for it to make you more money than your primary job where you can quit, maybe you only have to wait 3 or 4. Again, it's food for thought. Take it for what it's worth. Leave it in the comments. Tell us what you think. Don't take it personal. We're not trying to make life hard for you. We're trying to help you. We have nothing to gain from this. We're not selling anything. We're not trying to sell a product or training or any kind of program. It's here to give you another perspective that hopefully will make your life better. But even if it doesn't, it's fun to talk about and fun to hear your comments, to hear what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.